Trailer. Imagine discovering that the 847 luxury homes and multi-million-dollar community you see every day were built on your grandfather's land, and that every rent check for 15 years lined the pockets of a ruthless HOA president. Picture a mechanic with oil-stained hands uncovering a 1952 treaty clause that turns the tables on a greedy Karen and her corrupt husband in the county assessor's office. You'll witness secret safes, forged documents, late-night sabotage, FBI arrests, and the power to evict an entire subdivision, only to choose mercy and build a better future. This is the wild, true story of Cole Brennan's climb from broke Ohioite to mountain savior. So if you love jaw-dropping HOA drama and ultimate revenge served with justice, like and subscribe for more. 3 days after Grandpa Ezra died, I drove 12 hours from Ohio with a maxed-out credit card, hoping to sell his cabin, cover his funeral, maybe catch up on rent. I'm a mechanic. Greasy overalls, calloused hands, and my family's been living paycheck to payday for as long as I can remember. Grandpa always got flack for buying worthless mountain land in '52, but when I stepped inside that dusty cabin and found his surveying maps, I started to think he might have been onto something. The living room smelled of pine sap and old leather. His coffee mug still sat on the table, reading glasses perched beside hand-drawn plats from the 1940s. That's when I heard it. The grind of designer heels on gravel, click, 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 getting louder. "Excuse me, sir," a voice drawled in a fake British accent. "I'm Brenda Kensington Walsh, president of the Pinnacle Ridge Homeowners Association." Behind her, an $80,000 Range Rover idled. She eyed my beat-up pickup like it was vermin. "This eyesore truck has 72 hours to disappear, or I'll fine you $500 a day." I looked at her clipboard full of official-looking violation notices and at the mountainside of 847 luxury homes behind her. None of these people had the faintest clue that every lot sat on my family's 1,300 acres. Every month since 2005, they'd been paying rent to someone else. "Cole Brennan," I said, handing back her notice. "I inherited this place 3 days ago." I watched her Range Rover roar away while I tucked her warning in my pocket. Time to find Grandpa's hidden safe. Next morning, flashing red and blue lights woke me at dawn. 2 deputies on my porch. Brenda sat smug in her Rover on the hill. "Sir, there's a restraining order," one deputy said. "Ma'am says you threatened her." I yawned, sniffing cold mountain air. "I just said I'd handle the truck." "Also," the other deputy added, "she claims you have no right to be here. Something about an ownership dispute and back taxes." "Her husband's Dennis Walsh, county assessor," I said. "I've got Grandpa's death certificate and deed inside." After they left, I got on my laptop and called Janet Torres, a property lawyer in Denver. But first, I drove into town to the Pine Ridge Library and met Mrs. Opal Cartwright, whose silver bun and gentle manners belied a memory for every dusty record in that place. "Ezra's grandson," she said, handing me yellowed assessment rolls. I scanned the numbers. In 2005, land worth $2.8 million was magically marked down to $180,000 year after year. Signed off by Dennis Walsh. "This is fraud," Mrs. Cartwright whispered. Janet Torres confirmed it. "File a quiet title suit now. Force every homeowner to prove ownership with real deeds." While I drafted paperwork, Brenda raised an eye. Uproar on Facebook. Protect Pinnacle Ridge from undesirables. And paid her brother-in-law, Sheriff Martinez, to drop by for wellness checks. She even tacked on a new $200 monthly security fee, raking in $169,400 extra from the neighbors. Then came the dump truck. Out behind my cabin, I heard diesel and crashing concrete. Dennis was emptying a load of rubble across Grandpa's meadow, environmental sabotage to jam me up. I stayed hidden with my new trail camera and let it record every rusty rebar and shattered roofing tile he dumped. That afternoon, Buck Martinez, owner of the local hardware store, sat me down on Grandpa's porch. "That woman's been shaking down every shop on Main Street," he said. "Don't pay her, and her husband finds code violations on your building." Suddenly it clicked. Every paved road, every utility line, ran across my grandfather's original survey. I literally controlled the only way in and out of Pinnacle Ridge. The next salvo came in the mail. A wetlands claim filed by Brenda, threatening EPA eminent domain seizure. Government agencies flexing muscles for a power grab. She thought she could scare me off. Instead, I dug deeper. 3 weeks of research led me to discover Brenda's forgeries. A 1955 sale document so amateurish that it mentioned zip codes, non-existent until 1963. My spidey sense tingled. I mailed it to Janet, and by midnight she'd looped in her FBI contact, Special Agent Sarah Kim. Within days, Kim's team uncovered Brenda's aliases across 3 Colorado counties. Same scam, same fake covenants, same stolen millions. That night, I cracked Grandpa's hidden safe, the authentic 1952 surveyor's agreement, lease contracts, and his handwritten ledger detailing every harassment, every missing rent check, every threatened lawsuit. And on the final page was the nuclear clause. All improvements revert to the landowner if lease payments are interrupted for over 60 days. No one had paid since 2005. Every house in Pinnacle Ridge belonged to me. I called Janet screaming, "Reversion clause. I literally own their houses." She was stunned. "Cole, under Colorado law you could evict them all immediately. Biggest residential seizure in state history." I thought of Grandpa, who'd loved building community. I didn't want vengeance. I wanted justice. With Janet's help, I filed the quiet title action, claiming every improvement on my land and giving each homeowner 30 days to prove their right to stay. News vans lined the mountain road by sundown. I declined interviews, but the buzz was my secret weapon. Over the next week, I visited families house by house, offering them genuine purchase agreements, $50,000 per lot, with 10-year financing at low interest, cheaper than Brenda's combined mortgage, HOA fees, and bogus security charges. Their relief was immediate. Jennifer Walsh, a single mom near the entrance, tears in her eyes, asked, "So we won't lose our homes?" "No," I said. "I want you to stay and finally own your land, free and clear." Meanwhile, I deployed high-def cameras with facial recognition at every entry point and taught neighbors how to spot telltale signs of assessor fraud in public records. Sarah Sterling, the local editor, assembled an exposé titled "The Mountain Mafia: How One HOA Stole Millions." She promised to publish it the morning of my town hall. I even planted a rumor, through Margaret Flynn, a retired teacher, that I was desperate to sell everything to a developer. 3 days later, Brenda strutted up to my porch and dangled a $500,000 quick settlement offer. I let my recorder capture every word before I reported her attempted bribe to Agent Kim. That same night, I watched on security cameras as 3 men jackhammered my cabin foundation at 2 a.m. One of them answered a phone with Brenda's voice giving instructions to fake a gas line leak. They severed my phone lines, trying to trap me inside. I radioed Buck Martinez, who summoned deputies. The saboteurs vanished into the mountain dark, but not before leaving GPS-stamped footage and audio of their conspiracy. Within days, Dennis Walsh was fired for taxpayer fraud. Brenda escalated a whisper campaign, saying I was dangerous, stockpiling weapons, planning attacks, turning neighbors against me. But when she slapped code violations on Buck's 30-year hardware store after he publicly backed me, the community snapped. "The real victim here is Buck Martinez," I overheard a neighbor say. Then came the airport arrest. Brenda caught at DIA with $847,000 in stolen HOA funds, ready to flee to Costa Rica. Tax evasion, money laundering, wire fraud, federal charges stacked sky high. News crews gobbled it up. HOA queenpin nabbed with suitcase of cash. Her meltdown in handcuffs made TV one. Neighbors formed a coalition. Margaret Flynn rallied support for my purchase plan and the election of an honest HOA board. That set the stage for the grand finale, the town hall meeting. 300 people jammed into the center, cameras rolling, Sheriff Martinez standing watch. I clicked through slides, forged documents, shredded evidence caught on video, audio of bribery, and the reversion clause. Halfway through, Brenda stormed in with slick lawyers demanding to speak. Sheriff Martinez gently escorted her to a seat. I pressed play on the recording of her offering me $500,000 to drop the case. The room gasped. Brenda's face turned ashen. Then Agent Kim rose from the back. "Brenda Kensington Walsh, you're under arrest for federal wire fraud and tax evasion." Handcuffs clicked. The crowd erupted in cheers. When the applause died, I said, "This was never about revenge. It's about rebuilding a community." Starting today, 673 households have purchase agreements in hand. We'll lower fees, repair roads, fund scholarships in Grandpa Ezra's name, and preserve 400 acres as a nature reserve. 6 months later, Pinnacle Ridge is thriving. A Democratic HOA board slashes fees by 60% while improving services. The Ezra Brennan Memorial Scholarship funds local students. The Nature Preserve hosts school groups and returning elk. I opened Brennan's Honest Auto Repair, and Sarah Sterling and I finally got together, after she refused to fix her own car lest we breached journalistic ethics. She won a state press award. But the battle isn't over. I just got an email from a family in Texas facing the same Brenda-style fraud. I forwarded their case to the FBI and dusted off my research on Texas property law. Some fights are too important to ignore. And as the mountain air fills with the scent of pine and promise, corrupt HOAs everywhere should be very, very worried. If you want more jaw-dropping HOA exposés and unbelievable true stories, please like and subscribe.